Okay, Julia. Now, from your responses, it looks like the daily activities like housework and driving, you've rated driving as giving you quite high levels of enjoyment, motivation, and concentration. Yes, I was surprised when I looked at my answers too. I couldn't have expected it, but now I realize that driving is actually usually pleasant for me. Obviously not when there's huge traffic jam or anything, but otherwise I enjoy it. I concentrate on driving, which usually means that I can't worry about all my everyday concerns and problems. I have about a half hour drive to and from work, so it allows me to get ready for work on the way there and then relax and wind down on the way home. I'm by myself and I usually listen to music or interesting programs on the radio. So I guess all in all, it was a pretty pleasant experience for me. Another activity with high ratings were doing a hobby. You indicate that you play the guitars. Yes, I was thinking that when I answered that questions. I usually play the guitar at least 3 times a week. I play in a group with friends and I play by myself too. I have to concentrate when I play and I'm usually motivated too. But I don't want to make a lot of mistakes when I play with my friends. I just love playing. When we get going on a new song, I just forget everything else that's going on. Overall, doing housework didn't rate very high. No, housework of any kind isn't favorite for me. It looks like working with computers rated highly for you, Leo. Do you work with computers at your job or is this a hobby? Actually, both. I just love computers so much that there isn't really that much difference between work and play for me when it comes to computer. Computer programming is my job, but I also play a lot of computer games when I'm not working. A friend and I are actually working on developing our own game to sell. I guess some people might see that as work, but for us it's worth fun. We get together and start discussing it or working on it, and we can go for hours and hours without stopping. We sometimes stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning if you're trying to solve a problem or something. Well, speaking of friends, it looks like you read socializing highly too. Yes, it might be a little surprising since many people think that people who love computers don't socialize. But my friends as you are really important to me and we get together a lot. Of course, we talk about computers an awful lot, but we talk about other things too. Okay, it seems like you really enjoy active things, Annie. Yes, definitely. I like almost any kind of sports. Really, I do them as much as possible. Soccer, tennis, running, whatever. Do you prefer individual or team sports? Well, both really. It depends on the mood I'm in. I play soccer at least once a week, so that's a team sport. But then I also run about 3 times a week, and that's something I do alone. So I guess it's probably pretty much a mix of both. What about your job? You rated it in the middle. Yeah, I'm an elementary school teacher. I like that, but then I also coach some school sports teams, basketball and soccer. I get enjoyment from teaching, but I think I like coaching more. What about activities that are less active? Do you participate in any? Not very often. I'm home a few evenings a week, and sometimes I sit down and watch TV, but it's not all that often. So, Robert, a lot of people don't find pleasure in housework, but it looks like you rate washing dishes pretty high. Yeah, I know it might seem a little strange. I'm an executive with a high pressure job. I'm busy all the time, and I like doing dishes, but it's relaxing for me and it often turns out to be good thinking time. I'm surprised at how often I come up with solutions to problems while I was washing dishes. Then it's always satisfying when I finish and everything is completely clean. It looks like work. Your job has a medium rating. Yes, as I said, I have a pretty high pressure job. I like it and I'm good at it, but it's challenging and the stress gets to me. So I'm usually really happy when the weekends come. So what do you like to do on weekends? Well, I'm pretty busy. I have an old house that I'm fixing up. I'm doing all the work myself, so there's something always something to do on that. I enjoy bicycling too, and since I don't have a lot of time during the week, I try to ride a lot on weekend. Chapter 3. For many years, scientists have believed in rhythms of the body. The idea of our bodies know what they need to stay healthy. So, by this theory, when you're hungry for certain food, it's just our body letting us know that we need a specific nutrient. However, for example, you might crave steak because you need protein, but this idea doesn't cover really the reality of our eating habits. So much of what we love to eat, think of cookies or French fries, doesn't offer much nutrition. And many people don't like foods that offer lots of vitamins. Think of spinach or broccoli. So the idea of eating only supports life doesn't really offer a full explanation of our eating patterns. For a long time, there was a lot about our eating habits that were not fully understood by scientists. But in the last few years, new studies have given researchers more information. One discovery is that humans are born loving sweetness. On its first day of life, a newborn baby would prefer sweetened drinks to unsweetened ones. Sugar can even block out pain. Doctors have found that babies wouldn't mind the pain of a needle for an injection as much if they were given some sugar beforehand. Then there are sour tastes. It's often surprising how much young children love sour flavors. Think of how many kinds of candies for children with really sour flavors there are: lemons, sour apples, and so on. Candy companies must have realized this a while ago, but it was only recently that science confirmed it. A study found that children between the age of 5 and 9 years old actually enjoy the flavor of concentrated citric acid make things sour. In contrast, bitter flavors are mainly appreciated by older adults. Children and pregnant women usually dislike bitter tastes. This is probably because bitterness can be a sign of toxicity, that something could be harmful, which would be more important during times of growth and development. However, as people get older, they often develop more of taste for fruits with a little bitterness. Scientists think they could make sense because foods like broccoli or dark chocolate, both of which have a slightly bitter flavor, usually also contain antioxidants that have fight diseases like cancer. So, there are similarities in taste preferences, but then why are our individual preferences so different? One explanation is that our preferences are shaped by our flavor experience at very early young age, including before we are born. For example, one study found that if a pregnant woman drank carrot juice late in pregnancy, her 6-month-old baby liked carrot-flavored cereal more than other 6-month-old babies. Another area of difference involves food cravings, intense and specific desires for a certain food. Scientists now believe they are also probably more related to childhood and cultures than to some kind of biological need for vitamins. A study by psychologists on 3 continents in the countries of Egypt, Spain, and the United States looked at cravings by both men and women. Before the study, one assumption was that women universally crave chocolate. However, while the study found that women often crave sweeter food than men, there were differences regarding chocolate. In Spain, both men and women were found to crave chocolate, but in Egypt, only 6% of women named chocolate as a favorite food. So conclusion is that cravings are not universal or based on biology, but are more the result of our cultural experiences with food. Now, family and culture don't explain all the individual differences in food preferences. Obviously, there are people who have dramatically different preferences from their parents, so there's still more to learn. Scientists are now paying a lot more attention to psychology of food choice. They may find that what we think about food could turn out to be as important as what we actually put in our mouths and eat.